spending nearly 4 decades playing a single character on one of television's most enduring soap operas is the kind of career most actors only dream of. Yet it comes with a cost few outsiders truly understand. Anthony Geary, forever linked in the public imagination with General Hospital's Luke Spencer, lived inside that paradox for 37 years. Luke was not just a role, he became a cultural landmark, a name that defined an era of daytime television. The romance, drama, and unforgettable wedding storyline captured millions of hearts, turning Luke and Laura into icons of the genre. But behind the charisma and intensity that audiences adored was a man who often felt confined by the very success he had created. Anthony never chased celebrity for its own sake. He was uncomfortable with red carpets, wary of interviews, and far more interested in the craft of acting than the noise surrounding it. The world celebrated Luke Spencer, but Anthony sometimes struggled with how much of his own identity disappeared behind that legend. Fame opened doors, but it also built walls, leaving him to wrestle quietly with the weight of being recognized everywhere, yet truly known by very few. A quiet beginning. Far from Hollywood, Anthony's story began in 1947, far removed from the bright lights of Los Angeles, in the small town of Colville, Utah. It was a modest place, the kind of town where life moved slowly, shaped by routine, community, and simple values. Growing up in a devout Mormon household, Anthony was raised with discipline, humility, and an emphasis on moral responsibility. Indulgences like alcohol or reckless behavior were discouraged, while kindness, self-control, and duty were deeply ingrained. These early lessons left a permanent imprint on him, giving him a reflective nature and a sense of restraint that would remain even after fame arrived. His father worked hard to build a construction business, teaching Anthony the value of effort and persistence, while his mother provided emotional grounding, encouraging empathy and understanding. Even as a child, Anthony was different. He didn't just watch movies for entertainment. He studied them, analyzing performances, keeping notes, and becoming fascinated by complex characters rather than simple heroes. Without any artistic lineage in his family, he still felt pulled towards storytelling, often recreating scenes alone, practicing voices, and exploring emotions, as though acting was his way of making sense of human nature. Discovering his true calling. In high school, Anthony's talents began to shine. Traditional academic subjects didn't spark him in the way performance did, but on stage he came alive. School productions became his natural arena, not because he sought attention, but because he possessed an undeniable presence and dedication. A major turning point came when he earned a drama scholarship to the University of Utah. This opportunity was more than education. It was a doorway into a larger world. Leaving behind the safety of small-town life required courage, but Anthony embraced it fully, committing himself to the demanding discipline of acting. During his university years, he developed his craft with intensity, earning respect for his ability to explore emotional depth and complexity. It became clear that he wasn't interested in surface-level performance. He wanted truth, nuance, and authenticity, qualities that would later define his most famous work, the stage as his first teacher. Before television fame, Anthony's foundation was built in theater, one of the most unforgiving training grounds an actor can face. On stage, there are no second takes, no edits, only raw connection between performer and audience. Anthony distinguished himself not only with talent, but with meticulous preparation. He earned recognition through prestigious scholarships and awards, validating his path. A defining moment arrived when Oscar-winning actor Jack Albertson visited the university. Anthony was cast opposite him, and after witnessing his ability, Albertson offered him the chance to tour professionally. It was the break Anthony needed, a leap from anonymity into the wider world of performance. Accepting that offer meant leaving Utah behind, stepping into uncertainty, and fully embracing life as an actor. Entering Los Angeles and television touring eventually brought Anthony to Los Angeles, a city known for both opportunity and harsh rejection. He continued working extensively in theater, appearing in dozens of productions that sharpened his emotional control, timing, and presence. His transition to television happened gradually through guest roles on popular series of the time. Even in small appearances, Anthony stood out because he brought sincerity and depth rather than exaggeration. One of his most notable early performances was on All in the Family, where he portrayed a gay character with humanity and respect at a time when television often relied on caricature. His portrayal was quiet, honest, and groundbreaking in its subtle dignity. Around the same time, he joined another daytime drama, which unknowingly positioned him for the role that would change his life forever. The Vision That Created Luke Spencer. It was producer Gloria Monty who recognized something special in Anthony. She valued emotional truth over polished perfection, seeking actors capable of conveying complexity rather than relying on charm alone. Anthony's intensity and willingness to explore darker emotional landscapes aligned perfectly with her vision for General Hospital. When she took over the show, she created the character of Luke Spencer specifically for him, setting the stage for a new kind of television figure. Luke was not meant to be a simple hero. He was flawed, morally complicated, and shaped by a troubled past. Anthony's portrayal gave him humanity, allowing audiences to see both the darkness and the longing for redemption beneath the surface. From supporting role to cultural phenomenon, Anthony joined General Hospital in 1978, originally contracted for only a short run. Luke Spencer was intended as a minor character, yet Anthony's performance transformed him into something far larger. Luke became compelling because he was messy, imperfect, and real. Anthony refused to sanitize him, instead portraying him with emotional honesty that resonated deeply with viewers. Audiences saw not just actions, but the inner conflict driving them. Luke's complexity made him controversial, yet unforgettable, and soon the character became the heart of the show. Luke and Laura, television history. The wedding of Luke and Laura in 1981 became more than a storyline. It became a national event. Over 30 million viewers tuned in, making it one of the most watched moments in daytime television history. The phenomenon transcended soap opera audiences, drawing mainstream attention and cementing Luke Spencer as a household name. Anthony's work reshaped what male characters could be in daytime drama, proving audiences could connect deeply with morally complex figures when portrayed with authenticity. Luke and Laura became the genre's first true supercouple, and Anthony found himself at the center of an unprecedented cultural wave. Recognition, awards, and the weight of identity. Throughout his career, Anthony earned multiple Daytime Emmy Awards, reflecting not only talent, but decades of dedication. Appearing in over 1,000 episodes, he built a legacy unmatched in the soap world. Yet the very role that brought him acclaim also became a form of confinement. Luke Spencer consumed his public identity, making it difficult for audiences or the industry to see Anthony as anything else. The character opened doors but also closed possibilities, trapping him in a singular image that followed him everywhere: privacy as a personal choice. Despite fame, Anthony remained intensely private. Unlike many celebrities, he rarely shared details of his personal life. Fans speculated for years, but Anthony valued silence over public curiosity. In later years, it became known that he had built a quiet life with his longtime partner, far from Hollywood's spotlight. This revelation offered a glimpse into who Anthony truly was. Not a man chasing attention, but someone seeking peace, authenticity, and love away from the noise. Health challenges and stepping away. In his later years on the show, Anthony faced serious physical challenges, including injuries that made the demands of acting increasingly difficult. Surgery and rehabilitation became part of his reality, and eventually he chose to step away. His departure was not fueled by disinterest, but by the recognition that his body and spirit needed rest. Leaving Luke Spencer behind was bittersweet, yet it allowed Anthony to reclaim himself beyond the character. A quiet life of freedom and fulfillment. Today Anthony lives a serene life, away from the pressures of fame. He spends his time reading, writing, cooking, and enjoying simple companionship. His days are no longer defined by scripts and cameras, but by quiet moments of intellectual exploration and personal peace. This life represents the culmination of decades of choices that prioritized authenticity over applause. Legacy beyond the screen. Anthony Geary's impact on television is undeniable. He transformed Luke Spencer into a symbol of complexity and emotional depth, reshaping daytime drama and influencing generations of storytelling. Yet perhaps his greatest lesson lies beyond awards or fame. His journey reminds us that success is not only about visibility, but about integrity, dedication, and the courage to step away when it is time. In choosing privacy, peace, and authenticity, Anthony demonstrated a rare kind of triumph, living fully, quietly, and truthfully on his own terms.